semen retention is actually a good thing in terms of learning how to understand your body's feelings, the way that energy is moving around you, and the way that things, alignment in terms of how you're feeling and how you get to choose what to do, what to say, who you allow in your life. I make it seem like this big thing, but it's really super easy to understand once you have a little bit of an understanding of it. Like, that can take you a long way. I'm not really big at I'm totally okay without having the full picture, like a full understanding of life, because you don't get really hit with it all at once. It's an unfolding process, and I'm not ever going to allow myself to feel like I've got it, I figured it out. No, I didn't figure shit out. Quite frankly, I'm still in the process of understanding, so much so that I'm still also in the process of being able to apply what I'm understanding in real life scenarios. It's like a practice. It's not something that just because, like, oh, I think I get it now, I can become perfect or perfect at it. It's like through these scenarios, I'm getting a better understanding of how to apply what I've learned, so that the outcome, or so that a scenario is playing out in a way where I'm protecting my sacredness of energy. I'm protecting my peace. Like, I'm not finding myself in a situation where I'm feeling hurt, and it's like, even if something doesn't work out in the way that I would have anticipated, or the way that, like, let's say, in terms of, like, in the situation that I'm going to apply, right? If something didn't work out between myself and another person, in a way that I would have anticipated based on how I was longing that person, or just kind of getting to a point where I kind of wish, like, oh, like, that's really a bummer. Why didn't things work out? Like, a few years ago when that first happened to me, it was like, oh, dang, like, no, but, like, it has to work because, like, I feel so strong about it. Like, it has to be, like, it's meant to be, right? And it's just like, oh, wait, no. It's not that just because I feel something so deeply doesn't mean that it's meant to be, and it's like slipping. Like, it was like, sort of like, I just wasn't really understanding. And it's not to say now that I have a clear understanding why things didn't work out, or why things aren't working out with, like, a particular person. It's more so like, I've been able to become more accepting of a certain situation, or of certain situations, not just of a specific situation. Because sometimes when, like, in the past few minutes, it sounds like I'm targeting a specific person, but it's not that. It's like, it can be, this kind of logic can be applied to just any situation, whether that be for me or for you. If you got something going on with your job, and you're, like, trying to get into this role or something, and it just quite didn't work out, maybe you try to get into this role several times and it just quite didn't work out. It's like, you got to understand, none of this stuff is personal. None of this stuff is personal. Someone else's decision on you, that doesn't what they think of you or what they do regarding you, that is not at all an equivalent of your value. By no means is that anywhere near the equivalent of what you should value yourself as. Just because this person or this job or whatever the situation may be, just because you feel like, oh man, like, I felt so strongly attached to this, and the fact that it didn't work out and now it feels like such a bummer. It's just like, I get why I would think that. I get why anyone else would think that too, because it just feels so immensely hurtful sometimes, and you're just like, well, why didn't it work? It simply didn't work. And you yourself in life, because I'm not going to say anything that's going to get you to understand that, like, yeah, things didn't work out and this is why it didn't work out. I don't quite have the answer to that question. I just know you're going to figure it out. It's going to make more and more sense as time passes on. And I genuinely think that, I don't know if I mentioned it like a 2 minutes, 3 minutes ago or whatever, but semen retention was honestly a very big thing for me now that I'm realizing, and maybe it has no part to do to it, but I feel like I almost can't really say that, because things that were kind of slipping past me before, or that I wasn't even aware of before, have now become aware because of just me retaining my energy that's sacred to me in my body. And it's not like I'm saying this as a result of me being like, I'm persistent on protecting my energy, I'm doing this because this reason. It just simply happened, And because that simply happened, it's just been something that got stuck with me. And I don't feel like going back on doing things that I was doing before in terms of leaking energy. And not only has it been applied to like semen retention in terms of not leaking energy, but it has also applied to very specific situations in my life as of late. Not just with one person, but with just about anybody that I have to deal with. Whether it be at work, whether it be someone with a love interest, whether it be another person who I'm like, okay, maybe I'm kind of interested in this person. It doesn't matter. Like, it can be any situation, just in terms of not leaking energy or not wasting energy, not wasting potential, or just redirecting energy, or maybe just keeping the energy within. It has become also more apparent for me as of late. And it's just like, wow. You know, previously, a year ago, 2 years ago, shit, even last week, shit, at any point that has led up until this point right now, it's 10:09 p.m. July what? July 12th, you know? It's just like, to this time, and it's now just changed to 10:10 p.m. But to this time, literally, I've been becoming more tuned in into how to really just protect my energy and ward off anything that I feel like just isn't necessary. It doesn't belong. It's like, why bother with something? And it's like, again, I'm not doing this. It's simply just happening. My awareness has now tuned into this. And as a result of my awareness tuning into this, I simply can't help but realize, yeah, this is the way to go. And it's not me deciding that, yeah, this is the way to go. It's me being aware. And because of the awareness being aware of it, it's simply now how my reality is playing out. And that's bizarre, no? Like, you would think maybe, yeah, I'm doing this intentionally. I'm doing this. And don't get me wrong, in the moment, yeah, maybe it does feel like I'm doing it intentionally. And it could be that. I'm not denying that by any means. But just reflectively looking in terms of how things have been happening, you got to understand, it's not that I got smarter. It's not that I am like, and maybe it could be that like I got smarter. Maybe it could be that like, oh, maybe as I'm older, I'm becoming more aware, more conscious of certain things. You know, you could say that. That's totally fine. I'm not going to deny that either. And shit, I may even just agree. But it's also just like, my awareness is tuning into something that it wasn't tuning into before. And because of that, things have become just a little bit more healthier around me in terms of how I sort of direct my energy. I'm not directing my energy towards anything that's just going to feel like a waste of time, you know? Like before, like if I was reaching out to if I was reaching out to a girl or something like that, I might have considered like, oh, let me just continue texting. Like, I hope this goes somewhere, you know? And it's just like, now it's just like, I'm just having fun, but not just having fun in like in a dickhead way or in a cocky way. It's just like, oh, this feels like it's actually fun. Like it feels like I'm actually having fun. I'm laughing, I'm smiling, and it's not me pretending. It's not me pretending that I'm smiling. It's not me acting like I'm laughing. It's genuinely happening. And because of that, when it gets to the point where it's like, oh, I don't really feel like I'm having fun anymore. It doesn't feel like I'm laughing. It's just like, oh, what am I doing? Let me just sit. Like, let me just literally just do nothing for a little bit. And then when the energy redirects itself to maybe I kind of want to have fun again. If it feels natural, I'm going to play more into it. If it doesn't feel natural, I'm just going to refrain myself from participating in what I thought I should be doing or what I'm thinking, and just be like, let me just go do something else. Let me pick up this manga that I bought. Let me read that. Let me play some music. Let me I don't know. Let me do anything different other than what I'm thinking is something that I should be doing, that is starting to feel like, oh, this is just me. I don't feel like I'm really gaining anything. And it's not to say that anything you should be doing is always gaining something. I mean, that's a good thing, right? To always feel like you're gaining something from what you're doing, from what you're actively doing. But at the same time, sometimes it's chill to not just gain anything at all and just sit with it. Just sit with it and just do something else. You know, just do something else. So, yeah. You know, another thing that I felt like I should bring up in this video, is that one of my friends, my closest friends, he tells me how he feels like he's cursed because he's had this repetitive situation happening to him, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I get it. Like, it may feel like a curse, and maybe that's just the label that he applied to it. And at the end of the day, maybe we're both thinking the same thing, but the label of cursed is how he wants to paint it. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't think you're cursed. I just think that, and it's kind of difficult for me to say, like, he labels it as cursing. I'm not necessarily labeling it as anything, but I am aware, like, what he's pointing to is genuinely how he sees it and how he feels it. But I just simply just don't align with labeling it as a curse. Like, I just don't think it's a curse. It's just a situation that seems to be occurring over and over again. But what if that situation that's occurring over and over again, it could just be your energy is not in alignment with the reality, because that maybe it's not meant to be. But who really knows? I can't really say that for definitive reasons. Like, I'm not going to be definitive about something. I just know simply that, like, when the energy feels like it's flowing and it's coming from a good place and it feels good, that's a good thing. If it's starting to feel like, I'm kind of leaking energy, it's just like, let me just refrain myself from leaking any more energy, and let me just move on. Let me do something else, And I feel like the more and more that I tune into that, just the more natural it's going to be for me to just tune into the higher things in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's become more apparent to me now. But that by no means means that, like, I have a great understanding. I can't be stopped. It's just like, but it's not also to deny me from feeling good about what's happening. I feel great. I feel good. And I feel like, okay, this is starting to make a little bit more sense now. But I know that it's not the end of the journey. In these videos, quite frequently, I'll talk about how when I reach my deathbed, when I'm however old, and I'm moments away from leaving this earthly plane, from whatever is animating my physical body, when that is being separated, I want those last moments to be a very peaceful moment. And it's maybe that's a desire, I don't really know. But what I do know is, throughout the rest of my life, I would like to be doing things that are tuned in to what naturally just feels natural. I don't want to be putting my energy in areas where it feels like I'm performing. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, like I said in the other video, I think sometimes performing, it might be necessary, Like, for instance, at the job that I currently have, I know deep down, I wouldn't even say deep down, I know that at the surface level in my thoughts, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't really want to be here. But at the same time, it's like, I'm dealing with so many people that I get so many different walks of life. I can't really justify capitalism now that I think about it. If I'm going to be honest, I'm just like, yeah, I wish kind of like life wasn't like this. But unfortunately, that's just the kind of world that we live in, where this thing is very instilled into what we all do. If you live in America, that's how it is. I don't know how it is in other countries, because I don't live in those countries. But I just do know that, like, yeah, I think everybody else, not just in America, but all around the world, would kind of aspire to live a life where they're doing something that they love rather than doing something to make a rich man already richer, or a rich person already richer. You know what I'm saying. But performing is kind of necessary to some degree, just because, like, maybe it could be you just don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or maybe it could be that, there could be a plethora of reasons. I'm not going to try to come up with a reason now. It doesn't feel natural, so I'm just going to leave that topic alone. But whatever, not leaking your energy. And love, I mentioned it in the previous video. I think love, genuinely, if you're trying to deal with something that's, like, kind of romantic, like, I myself am trying to, like, let me see, like, how it goes with this person, or, like, let me just see how, like, she was a cool person. I kind of feel like texting her, like, let me see what I want to say, or let me see how the conversation flows. I'm not going to try too hard. I'm just going to see, like, I feel like saying this. Next thing I know, I'm laughing. And it's just like, love, and not just love, but even just trying to have fun, it shouldn't feel performative. None of that should feel performative, because if it feels performative, and this is something that I've mentioned in earlier videos too, that I'm sort of now just rephrasing, anything that feels like pretending is genuinely something that I would rather stay away from. I try to be a real person, as real as I possibly can be. If there's genuinely a place or a person or some whatever it may be that I don't want to take part in or do anything with or anything in relation with, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just simply not going to do it, because what would be the point of me betraying how I genuinely want to be as a person, you know? And that could be applied to anybody. It could be applied to anybody. If there's anywhere where you don't want to be, if there's a person that you don't want to hang out with, anything like that, whatever it may be, don't betray yourself. Don't do yourself the injustice of going somewhere or being with somebody or anything like that you don't want to be with, you know? Like, if there's a reason for it, like some things, again, like some things are necessary. That's just life, you know? Maybe there's like a higher, maybe there's like a higher level or whatever is controlling this, you know, this situation, this little scene that we have playing through our eyes, whatever is controlling it, you could say that it's there for a reason. But if you've got the understanding of just, you can redirect your energy. You can say no. It's totally fine. If you don't want to do something, if you feel like you're going to regret it, maybe it is something that you should do, right? But just respect. Respect what you feel. Love what you feel. Love your truth. Don't do yourself the injustice of not reflecting and doing the inner work. Because when you do that inner work, and I don't want to say that you're doing the inner work, because again, it just naturally feels like some things have played out for me. And I would imagine that's what's going on with everybody else too. I don't think that like I'm some higher being or I'm a better human or I'm different or I'm better. Like, I by no means want to attach myself to that, because I just feel like, I mean, ego is necessary, but there's, just as anything else, there's the light to it and there's the dark to it. And I want to have my ego, because if it's going to be here, I would rather have it go into the lighter side as much as possible than it be in the darker side. The darker side is me being separate, like me being an individual that like I'm an individual. The rest of the human beings are just waste of oxygen or whatever it may be. If I lean into that, it's just going to be like, I'm really doing not just myself, but yeah, myself. I'm doing myself an injustice, and I'm doing an injustice to everybody else too, because what would make me any different from anybody else? What would make anyone different from anyone else? This body's going to leave us at some point. That's everybody. So no one is higher than anybody. No one is superior than anybody. We're all equally as deserving to be on this planet Earth. And I'm sure that we all, our souls, whatever is animating this body of ours, I'm sure that it came here with an intention of a purpose to play out, a dream to pursue.